trying to extend Slavkovsky and Zuley. Now, as we have said, Montreal Canadiens would be interested in extending. It's just kind of reaffirming to have Elliot Friedman of all people write about that in an article. Both of these players, so I'm going to ask that question to y'all in the comment section, where do the Habs go with this? Because there are a number of things you need to think about, I'd say, when it comes to players who are this young and who are this good. Pretty much it's the balance between giving these guys the money that they deserve and giving them money that would benefit the Montreal Canadiens. Both of these guys develops peak precision. Worthy of change and sport. Pride to perform for you. The special offers this season. The time to seize the moment is now. Sport, softball, road ready. Sometime, and honestly, it's kind of difficult to do that at this stage because right now, both of these guys, Slavkovsky and Goulet, have been pretty good. Slavkovsky, as we have noted, he finished off the season with 50 points in 82 games played, with an absolutely stellar point production rate to end off the season in the second half. He was absolutely on fire. He was like a point-per-game guy pretty much. And if he's able to do all of this now, at 20 years old, imagine what the price could be if he is a 23, 25, 27-year-old getting this amount of points, maybe even getting more points. He becomes like an 80, 90-point guy. He becomes the next Nico Rantanen, like everybody's tossing that name out there. If you believe that's a realistic outcome, then anything under $7, $8 million a year on a long-term contract extension would be seen as somewhat of a steal. But of course, fans can look at Slavkovsky and say, oh yeah, look at that, he's that good. But Slavkovsky can also look at himself and say that too. It's very easy for a player and the agent to analyze the numbers and look at all the stuff in the same way that Canadiens fans do. Hey, Slavkovsky was so good, and he's only going to get better. He's so young. So maybe it would be in their best interest to wait and not sign a contract extension as soon as possible. Try to maximize the amount of dollars they can get, because if Slavkovsky signs his contract extension on July 1st, let's just be a little bit conservative, maybe $7 million over 8 years. If Slavkovsky then goes out there and has a 70-point season at 21 years old, then all of a sudden that $7 million contract looks like a steal. It looks so good for a guy who's so young and who's continuously getting better. So it would be in his best interest to say, okay, we'll not sign it right away. We'll play out 24, 25. I'll get 70, 80 points, and then we'll renegotiate next season where I have more bargaining power and more of a justifiable reason to get more money than everybody else in this team. Sorry, Suzuki, sorry, Caulfield, but if one day Slavkovsky is the #1 point guy on the team, it wouldn't really be the most surprising thing in the world, right? He's been that good that whatever sort of ceiling or production rate seems like a possibility at this point. And the fun part is, you could say the same thing about him. Not because Caden Goulet was a point-per-game guy, or he did this, or he did that. I mean, he was a point-per-game towards the end of the season there. 6 points in his last 5 games, but Caden Goulet finished off the season with 22 points in 70 games played, and he was more or less the #1 defender for the Canadiens for a good chunk of these games. I mean, he played 20-plus minutes a night. He was a consistent battler out there. He could block shots, he could hit, he could score points too. The 3-point game against Seattle was pretty much what kick-started the run of points for 30, 40-point season. He still plays 22 minutes a night. He gets better. He's more physical. He blocks more shots. He gets more hits. He produces more points. Then he's like, yeah, I can get more money than all the other defensemen on this team, too. I have the opportunity to do that. So the Montreal Canadiens, Elliot Friedman going out there and saying that these guys would both be the intended targets of an extension, implying that they would try to do this now and not put it off until next year. It would be very smart for Montreal to try to lock these guys down to whatever contract it is they'll be willing to accept at the max length they'd be willing to accept too. If Slavkovsky and Goulet are willing to go 8 years, then I think most Canadiens fans have seen enough out of these young guys where it's like, yeah, give them whatever dollar amount they're asking for right now, because by the time 2026 rolls around, their contracts, if they're long term, might actually be steals. As for what they're worth right now, honestly, it's difficult to say because Slafkovsky produced in the second half of the season almost like a 6.5, maybe $7 million caliber player if you really wanted to stretch it. Of course, it's kind of ludicrous to think about that right now, but $6 million seems to be the floor here for a guy that provided the amount of stability and production.
Start training, start shopping, go attack it. So with offers also like cards, 5, 6, give the best you. When it comes to songs, the details make a difference. A plant-based couldn't get harmony in the bodies. They help you feel the skin. All these details sound great. You don't think plant-powered butters on body wash designed for good skin.
I know it may get a tad difficult to fully internalize what I'm going to say, especially after the way the Detroit Red Wings season finished in 2023-2024. But all things considered, this was a really good year for Detroit. You know how they always say that the evolution of a team that is in a rebuilding phase, you gotta go through it in stages. You can't be super good right away. You can't go from bottom to top in a matter of a few years. Unless you're the Colorado Avalanche, because they kind of did exactly that. Yeah, 2017, they were the worst team in the NHL, and then a few years later, they won the Cup. But not really to be Colorado in most normal NHL rebuilding scenarios. You have to take it in baby steps, and becoming good, becoming competitive, becoming a playoff-worthy team may not happen in 2 or 3 seasons. It might take a bit longer than that. So for the Detroit Red Wings, you could say that this is year 5 of the Steve Yzerman plan. And this season in particular was one where, based off of the end of the season, you could say Red Wings fans could be a tad bitter. But you gotta remember this. Hold that thought. The fact is, why are Red Wings fans bitter about the way the season ended? Because they were so close to the playoffs. The Wings were right there. If they just got one more point anywhere else in the season, they would have been in. They would have overtaken the Capitals, and maybe they would have been the Red Wings playing off against the Rangers and not the Capitals who absolutely suck. But, still, the Red Wings were playing meaningful games in March, meaningful games in April. They were a playoff contender. Not a contender for the Stanley Cup who happens to be in the playoffs, but a contender to participate in the playoffs. A playoff contender, very different here. The fact is, the Red Wings went from a few seasons ago in 2020, where they were the worst team in the NHL, to slowly getting better, having some young guys, having these young guys develop, place themselves onto the team, and actually exhibit good results. I don't think anybody's going to go out there and say they were disappointed in Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider this season. Okay, there actually have been a few people talking about Seider. We'll make another video about that later on because it was kind of nuts what I was seeing people talking about. Joe Valeno, Simon Anderson, Kosa, I think a lot of these guys, Red Wings fans, are happy to see them develop. And the expectation is, because they're all so young, they're probably going to get even better. So, with this Wings team being just on the cusp outside the playoffs, with this team getting the leadership they needed from other guys that were a lot older, brought onto this team to have that transitory type of impact, because you don't want to just ice a roster full of young guys who don't have any experience. You kind of need players who know what they're doing in there. So, all things considered, if you had told Red Wings fans in October of 2023, hey, the Wings would have been 1 point, literally 1 point and multiple minutes away from making the Stanley Cup playoffs, but they would ultimately fall short on the last day. On the last game, in the last minute, their playoff odds, their playoff chances would have been eliminated right before the shootout begins. If you had totally sent back in October, that would have been the outcome, guys. Take a look at the first graphic that is posted here. Season of improvement. The Red Wings had 41 wins and 91 points. This is the most points and wins they have had since 2015-2016. And look, that was 8 years ago. You want to know who was on this team back in 2015-2016? Well, Henrik Sederberg, for one, led the team in points with 50 that season. Pavel Datsyuk, Tomas Tatar, Gustav Nyquist, Brad Richards, Mike Green, Nick Kronwall, Nick Glenn, Riley Shahan, Justin Abdelkader, and then, of course, you have your Larkin there. The only guy who was on this team back in 2015 who was actually still a part of the Detroit Red Wings organization is Dylan Larkin. And, well, Larkin was a rookie this season. He had 45 points in 80 games. He was fine. But still, this looks like the beginning of the dark ages for Detroit because they made the playoffs. They lost in 5 games to, I believe it was the Tampa Bay Lightning, if my memory serves me correctly. And the reason I know that is because I literally covered this playoff series 8 years ago when it happened. Yeah, there's a picture of the Mesnikov and Datsyuk, but Dylan Larkin never played in the playoffs after that. That was the only time he participated in the postseason. That was 8 years ago. So it's been a while since the Red Wings had this amount of points and wins. First one since 2015-16. Team leaders in points, you have Lucas Raymond, who has 72. Goals, Dylan Larkin, with 33. Assists, you had Shane Gostisbehere with 46. What an absolute monster offensively productive season we had at Ghost Bear. And then you had yourselves another graphic that was posted that I thought was really interesting to look at. Here are some career highs for multiple Red Wings on the team. Dylan Larkin hit a career high in goals this season of 33, which I don't think is too surprising to anybody. At this point, Dylan Larkin is more so what he is. He's now 27 years old, so he has aged a little bit, but he still is the captain for a reason, and if there's a world where Larkin goes out there and maybe gets 35, maybe 40 goals next season, I don't know if it's all too unrealistic. I mean, he has slowly gotten better as years have gone on, and maybe slowed down the What's the miracle? They're called, and they're exploding more. This is super easy with our research. They've noticed their own marketing specialist to give us helpful advice on this. He's definitely doesn't help, but at the same time, maybe he's roughly hovering around that point per game pace for few years now. All he needs is some really good, productive line mates to help him produce more points if he wants to break through the point totals and goal totals that he had this season. And maybe Lucas Raymond is the guy to help him do that, because Raymond also set career highs in goals and assists with 31 goals and 41 assists. Yeah, Raymond is a lot younger than Larkin is right now. They're separated by 6 years, so obviously Raymond has a lot more to show for and grow into as he progresses in his NHL career. If Raymond gets like 80 points next season, honestly, I don't think it's all too surprising. Give me more. Lucas Raymond, especially after what we had seen at the end of the year against Detroit and all those clutch goals and everything against Pittsburgh. Raymond's a monster, and I get it, it's an unrealistic expectation to have of somebody, but if he can play the same way he did to end off this previous season for a full extended amount of time next season, then really the sky is the limit to what Raymond can accomplish. Same thing can be said about Moritz Seider. He had a career high in goals with 9. Now, Seider had a pretty rough season, all things considered, but he was still good. He was given so many tough matchups. He stepped up to the plate. He was physically domineering, and it was really tough to get by him. But of course, the Red Wings do throw him to the wolves a little bit, so he was kind of overworked, I would say, at times, but that's not really an indictment against him. Career high in goals is always good to see. Honestly, if Seider is scoring any goals at all, then it's a pretty big plus, because his game isn't really noted for goal scoring prowess. But still, the production is nice to see. Joe Veleno also had himself career high in goals, assists, and of course points. 12 goals slipping on the drop forward, not having the same extraordinary profile. The fact is, Joe Veleno now is more or less what Joe Veleno is. A 23-year-old defensive center who can produce some offense and can get snarly a little bit. You can debate as to what magnitude that snarl is appropriate, but still, Veleno is a part of this team, and he has been improving ever so slightly. You also had yourselves career high in goals for Jake Wallman, who had 12, and JT Compa, who had 19. Two guys who are more so in that middle-aged territory of Detroit Red Wings players, who said that they needed to acquire these guys to help transition the younger guys into being playoff competitors, and for the most part, they did their jobs. JT Compa, centering the line with the Red Wings team for a while, he was okay. Jake Wallman had a few notable moments this season, particularly the gritties that he would accomplish. He scored a lot of goals, honestly. 12 goals for a defenseman is pretty noteworthy. Same amount of goals as Joe Veleno, now that we're looking at it. Speaking about defense, let's shift over to goaltending, because Alex Lyon had himself a career high in games played, 44, and wins, 21. You'd like to see that wins number go to at least about 50% for Alex Lyon, but the fact is he was relied upon in this Red Wings season more so than he's ever been relied upon in any other season he's ever played. He was, of course, like with the Florida Panthers last year, which is kind of why he got this resume to try out with Detroit. And if you wanted to say that he should be the guy to carry the crease going forward, I wouldn't necessarily disagree. It's just Alex Lyon, he's sort of on that borderline cusp of being a true starter, in my opinion. He needs a little bit of ironing out, but, first full season of doing that, he's not going to be perfect right away. Who knows what comes next year? You also had yourself Michael Rasmussen, who had a career high in assists with 20. So even if the Wings did get eliminated at the very end of the season, there still were good things to talk about. And that's what I wanted to make this video for. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as to how the Red Wings season was a season of improvement and what actual good things there were to discuss from it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this Super Astros 99. And bye.
On the river of life, where the open waters meet, we are almost free to seek our own path. The stuff.
We've got more Stanley Cup playoff action on tap for tonight. We've got some game twos and some game ones. And the game that we care about for this video is Dallas versus Vegas game one. And earlier this morning, it was officially revealed. Everybody knew this was coming. We knew. Y'all ain't slick with this. I'm sorry. Las Vegas. But do you not like to be called that? Okay, not Las Vegas, just Vegas. Golden Knights. This is exactly what we all expected would have happened. Nobody is surprised to see this, but just because nobody is surprised to see it does not make it any less funny. Take a look at this quote heading into game one against the Dallas Stars. Mark Stone, Golden Knights captain, says, "I'm going to play tonight." And this is not surprising, because Mark Stone in February was out for the remainder of the season with a lacerated spleen. And everybody was saying, "Wait, he would have been able to play through that." But when it comes to the timing, this is where everybody has a field day. Because Scott Franklin went out there and tweeted this out earlier this morning too. Here are Mark Stone's transactions on the last 3 seasons worth of play. So going back to 2022, 2023, 2024, Mark Stone on February 14th, 2022 was placed on the LTIR for Vegas. On April 12th, 2022, he was activated from the LTIR. On February 11th, 2023, he was placed on the IR. On February 20th, 2023, so just a week later, he was placed on the LTIR. And again, on April 18th, 2023, he was activated from the LTIR. And then this season, on February 22nd, 2024, Mark Stone was placed on the IR. On March 4th, 2024, he was placed on the LTIR. And then on April 22nd, 2024, today, he was activated from the LTIR. Mark Stone has done this every single year. And you know what? I'm not going to say that he's intentionally getting hurt. He's not actually hurt. He's pretending to be hurt. I'm not saying that he's like healthy the entire time. But I think everybody kind of acknowledges at this point that there is some sort of a procedure that NHL teams can and usually do that allows these players to be on the shelf for a very specified amount of time. Not specified to the amount of time that they need to recover, but specified to the amount of time that the NHL team would benefit the most from. Here's a comment made by Knights GM Kevin Crimmon in regards to Vegas' reputation as salary cap stirrers. I don't know if maybe the fans or the media understand the degree to which these injuries are scrutinized. Essentially calling out fans and other people in the hockey world for criticizing the injuries that take place, which is an interesting idea. Oh yeah, the fans are criticizing the injury. I don't know if it's necessarily that. It's more like the procedure. And what we usually see is painfully obvious every year. But with that in mind, there's an excerpt from the article from The Athletic. For now, other GMs around the NHL have told The Athletic they have no issues with how Vegas is conducting their business. Which I'm not going to say is like surprising, considering the fact that every NHL GM probably knows about how the LTIR works and the loopholes, so to say, that you can exploit if you want to use this LTIR system to your advantage. It's just Vegas is like the only team that does it consistently. It's Vegas and Tampa Bay pretty much. And with this in mind, while NHL GMs may have themselves no problems with the way this entire thing has gone down, Frank Saravalli certainly does. He said that this is precision timing that would make Rolex jealous. The consistent timing of Mark Stone being placed on the LTIR and activated at the beginning of the playoffs. Placed on the LTIR before the deadline, activated before Game 1. Saravalli also was on the Daily Face-Off live show earlier this morning, and he went out there and said this: the NHL, I think they've got a serious competitive integrity issue with Mark Stone coming back to play. And those are some really harsh words. The video where he says it will be linked in the description if you want to listen to the entire comment. He essentially says that with the timing of everything, and I think this is an opinion that a lot of people secretly hold, but haven't really thought too much about, because Mark Stone is available to play today, he probably could have been able to play last week, and maybe even a little bit before that. This, you could say, probably was the case for the past few seasons. Mark Stone is always available to play on Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, but never, ever a moment beforehand. And it's easy to get away. What you saw, because I always remember this.
I think it's a very good thing, but it feels like home.
He was that once. Oh yeah, maybe he is ready to play, but the Vegas Golden Knights are not going to admit that. They're still going to treat him as if he's not able to play at all. And then once Game 1 of the playoffs comes, that's when they're going to really push and say, yeah, can you play? Can you play? Can you play? And he plays, and then he's like, yeah, he's fine. You can get away with that for 1 year, maybe 2 years. But 3 years in a row? 2022, 2023, 2024, every single time it happens exactly the same way? Let alone the fact that it's Mark Stone in particular that's always getting hurt. Like, obviously, it's not like he's putting himself in the position to get hurt. He didn't lacerate his own spleen. But it's so funny how everything always aligns like that. Saravalli said if he plays today, he could have played last week. But the Vegas Golden Knights wouldn't allow that to happen because they couldn't. They would have been well over the salary cap if they did that. And with this in mind, let's go over to one more conversation to end up this video. Emily Kaplan tweeted this out. The expectation around the NHL is that Mark Stone plays for Vegas tonight, yet again activated off the LTIR just in time for Game 1 of the playoffs. I talked to several players and front office executives about it. While jokes can fly about cap circumvention, everyone agrees nothing can or will change until the next collective bargaining agreement. And then there's a reply saying, why would a player intentionally miss 26 games? And the first reply is to get $9.5 million in additional cap space for your team heading into the postseason. And we saw the exact same thing happen with Nikita Kucherov a few years ago. Everybody knows Kucherov is really good. But that one season where he had 0 games played and 0 points, only to come back healthy Game 1 of the playoffs and absolutely go on a tear, that was a super beneficial move. Where it was like, yeah, if Nikita Kucherov was playing as well as he was in Game 1 of the playoffs that year, he probably, if he really forced him to, he probably could have played in the last few games of the regular season, and probably would have been okay. NHL teams are so used to this process now of modifying and laying out a player's recovery path and executing it so perfectly that these guys are never available to play at the end of the regular season. It's only at the beginning of the playoffs. Now, to Mark Stone's credit, there was a conversation on this Emily Kaplan tweet saying, hey, this is the world's fastest recovery from a lacerated spleen. And then there's another reply from Stat David Stone was placed on the IR 60 days ago. That's 8.5 weeks. What is the expected recovery time with a lacerated spleen? And another reply says 12 weeks in the max end, 3 on the extremely quick end. So lacerated spleen has the option to recover from a lot sooner than what Mark Stone did. Also has the option of recovering a lot later than Mark Stone did. But again, as we have said, it's perfect. It's right in line with what we thought was going to happen. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And now, if Mark Stone goes out there and gets 2 points, and he's a defensive beast, and Tomas Hertl scores a goal, and Anthony Mantha comes down and scores a goal, then it's Vegas LCIR City, baby. This is what we expected. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Mark Stone playing in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. He is cleared to action. This is the 3rd year in a row, and you had Frank Saravalli call out the Vegas Golden Knights for this moment. Thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this bit of Trash Rolls 99 and 5.
Everything has to have been technically smart. It's smart like after that. What's up, guys? It's 2017 year, and today I'm going to bring my top 10 first Fallout 4. And before we begin, I want to apologize for those of you here today. I had to actually roll that and try to recover. And as always, I encourage you guys to list your top 10 experts for the game in the comments below, because I'd like to see you all come up with. As I was going down the list of 70 or so first, I decided to group similar firsts together. Like Hacker and Boston, for example, only occupy one of my top 10 firsts because they have similar types of firsts.
Oh wow, Holfer was a better goaltender. Damn, okay. I think I should start him then.
So, without further ado, here are my top 10 best firsts in Fallout 4, which are in no particular order. First is Low Wander at Charisma 3. With very low investment, you don't need to make a hugely charismatic character in order to get Low Wander. You take a lot less damage, you get a lot more carrying weight, all around useful, and you get 4 damage, 45% more damage at level 40. This is such a strong start, and it's only amplified by the fact that you can take dog with you. You know, you can have doggy with you and Low Wander. It doesn't count as a candidate because you can't take anyone out. Just the fact that you can get into basically any character, you get a little
He's by Top Demon Miller, of course he is. Okay, what else is new? Depending on him involved. Sub Hardy, they did alright. Frankenberg would be an interesting player to keep an eye on. We saw him was really good. Actually, hate to see him go next season, but he has over a year left, so I'll.
Really, you're going to want to pick the correct gifts depending on the type of character build you're going for. You're always going to want to employ one of these. So I think they're all equally helpful depending on whatever build you're going for, and they're almost necessary in every single build, in my opinion. Next, I've got Bloody Mess. It's a very low investment on only 3 luck, and if you rank it up to the 3rd rank, I believe, it gives you a 15% flat boost to all damage. This is all damage you can deal, and so it's the fact that you don't have to invest that much into luck to get to Bloody Mess, and then you have just
flat boost is all damage. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a combination, pistol build with, demolition expert, both of those together, you're just dealing that much more damage with both of those things. And so Bloody Mess is useful no matter what. Next is Sneak, and of course this allows you to pull off more sneak criticals because you're not going to be seen by enemies when you're sneaking around. And there's a lot of open space in Fallout. There's a ton of walking around in the game. So it's easy to walk up and set up your shots. I do it all the time, no matter if I'm playing a sneak-based character or not. I always sneak. And so Sneak guarantees that you'll get those sneak criticals, and not to mention you can amplify it with Ninja, which is my next perk. Ninja is fantastic because it goes hand in hand with Sneak. Ranged attacks will do 3.5 times normal damage with rank 3, and melee will do 10 times. That is absolutely insane. So you've got a practical application for, both your ranged characters, your ranged builds, which, by the way, accounts for a lot of builds in the game. Most of all your builds, like 90% of your builds, are going to be ranged, but then it also really amplifies your melee builds as well. So both of these, perks, Sneak and then Ninja in tandem, are very, very good. Next, I've got Idiot Savant, and as annoying as people might think this perk is, it's an effective way to run a low intelligence character and level up quickly. Sometimes even more quickly than a high intelligence character if you really go for that low intelligence. And in fact, even if you are running a high intelligence build, Idiot Savant is still useful. Some people are in the mindset of, why do I want to level up quicker? You're supposed to enjoy the game. Why are you trying to level up quicker? And honestly, I don't really get that mindset. Personally, I'm having more fun when I have more perks and abilities. There's no level cap in this game. It's not like I'm shooting towards a level 30 like in Fallout 3 with DLC, You can just keep on leveling. So I think getting into those more fun perks and really specializing my character sooner, both makes the game more fun and makes my character more effective. So Idiot Savant, I think, really hitting non-stop. It's a very effective perk. Armor is my next perk. There's very little investment for armor abilities with these strength. No matter what build you're running, you're going to need some good armor. You're going to need to go to that armor workbench and work out that level. Of course, you're getting the armor for realistically because there's a lot of that all the way up and get the list and you found anything. No matter what. Armor is one of the strengths that I always go to with anything. It doesn't matter. I really don't want these builds lower than 3 strength because I like to have my carrying weight at least at 3, with 3 strength, and I automatically get armor with that. And so you're going to need it for ballistic weave, and you're going to need it pretty much anyway. So I think armor is definitely an important perk for any build. Next, we've got our critical perks, and I've talked about this in countless, build guides, and all of these videos I'm talking about better criticals, critical banker, Grim Reaper sprint, and 4-leaf clover. That combination, that kind of synergy of those higher level luck perks, I think it's level 5 to 9. All of those perks working together are so unbelievably effective. The reason I group these together is pretty much all of their purpose is to refill your critical meter and make sure that you're executing criticals more often. They are so unbelievably powerful. All these critical perks, especially when you get them all together. And so for a lot of builds that I've shown here on the channel, I recommend, hey, go down this path. But then once you get to like level 30 and you're really not wondering, hey, where do these perk points go? I think working into luck is extremely powerful. And if you want to make a pure luck-based character, you're going to be extremely powerful even earlier in your game. So these critical perks are unbelievably good. And I think they're going to be really useful when this new survival zone comes out. Next, I've got Hacker and Locksmith, the ones that I mentioned in my intro. So these are a good source of experience, and they allow you to take certain skill sets or get into special areas for certain reasons. And this is one that people may not agree with exactly, because you can go and get Valentine's, you can go and get paid. But I think these are convenience terms. So obviously, I really don't take both. If I take Locksmith, I'll take Nick with me. Or if I take Hacker, I'll probably bring Kate along from both side events to make sure I get into everything. But I think in general, this is a quality of life. Perks I think are really something that I go for in every single build. So I see these as a best perk in my opinion. My last best perk, or another group of perks, is Gun Nut, Blacksmith, and Science. These together are the weapon modding perks, depending on which build you're going for. If you're going for more of a laser gun, plasma gun kind of character, obviously you're going to go for Science. If you're going for straight, normal, ballistic weapons, it's Gun Nut. And then if you're going melee, it's Blacksmith. But it doesn't matter. In most builds, depending on which one you're going for, you're going to take this turn because you want to be able to modify your weapons. The only one with a kind of a high, investment in terms of your special is science. But if you're running a, that kind of character, it's definitely worth your while. So I think these weapon modding perks, we're going to be shooting a ton in all of our playthroughs. We want to be able to modify our weapons. It's super duper important in my opinion. So that's my top 10, and I understand I have some biases. For example, I like more offensive-based perks. All of those critical luck perks are so incredibly good in my opinion. And of course, all of the direct damage-based, flooding mask, sneak, all of that, has to do with dealing damage, and most of my perks come from that. That's just my personal bias, but let me know from you guys. I want to hear from you guys. What are your top 10 best perks in this game? Share all of that in the comment section below. I'm going to be reading them. Alright guys, today I shared my top 10 best perks in Fallout 4, and next time we will cover more Fallout on my channel. So stay tuned for Fallout 4 tips and tricks videos. If you learned something new, remember to hit that like.
I'm not even going to...
Get free supplies and bundles with logos on thousands.
Okay, 2 bad days in a row for Jefferson. Yeah, Golfer's going in. Joel Holber's going in. Jefferson 2 bad games in a row. So.
Stop ignoring it. Definitely that's all I get for. I am Billy George. Respect me, damn it. All right, let's see who goes first. Are you seriously going to ignore me? What do I have to do for you guys to stop ignoring me? Is that player 4 speaking? Again, with player 4 not being toxic. Toxic? No, I don't think so. Here we go again. I whooped you guys in our last game of Risk. Golf with your friends at the Game of Life. Guess I'm going first, huh? Let's do this.
Barack, are we just going to keep ignoring player 4?
We don't have to. After all, I'm going to whoop him so badly.
Oh, really now?
No longer be toxic. That's my strategy. Well, that's a good strategy. Let's see what's good with your turn, Barack.
Well, Barack won't be getting the $120,000 job because he is not goated like me.
Shut the hell up, player 4.
I promise you guys that I will whoop you all again. And when I do, I demand respect. History will call me Goated George.
Yeah, whatever, player 4. Let's see what jobs you get, Barack. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the job titles are on this man.
It won't matter since Goated George will win.
I hope you get that $120,000 paying job, Barack.
Damn it. It's okay, Barack. You got this.
What did I tell you, losers?
Is that player 4 talking again?
Barack wouldn't get the $120,000 paying job.
Let's go. Good one. Nice to start it off with a $50,000 bonus.
It won't matter. George in 5.
Let's see where this puts you.
Whoa. Is it really going to put me on state already?
Get wrecked, Barack.
That's just unlucky.
I told you that you will not be winning this game.
Come on, Barack. You can still land on something good here.
And thank God I did. That's a good one. I got a nice $100,000 bonus from the bank, so that's always a good thing.
Although you didn't land on an action space, you get no other option other than watching a game stream. I'll gladly take it, though.
Not a bad turn, Donald. You were able to get an attribute before college.
Nobody cares. It's Goated George's turn.
Let's see what you can do here, player 4.
You're trying to get under my skin, but it won't work.
Kind of sounds like it's already working.
Yeah, don't get it. That's player 4. Stop watching player 4. That's good guy. But if you still get it, we can get on I don't do like my business. Brady Street, and I have to get myself a nice juicy $120,000 job. That's not the action player 4. I did it with my time. Good. I don't want to do these things off in I was looking to this job. I want to check it out. You know, every guy can get it good, but not that with his friends. They would think, hey, I was sick. I was sick. Well, I didn't get it back. That's not such a good thing. But this guy got it. I'm going to say it. Check. Okay, this physically coming back. How many times have you probably played on
How you finish back.
Donald?
What is it, player 4?
You haven't won this game in ages.
So what?
And you only won it because Joe was being dumb as usual and threw the game to you.
Excuse
Stop
me?
acting like you're good or something.
Don't worry about player 4, Donald. It's time for Papa Joe's cookies. Good luck, Joe. Let's see how this turn of yours goes.
Can I tell you guys how it's going to go?
Hell no.
Player 4. Nobody wants to hear it.
Okay, so I guess I'll be landing on an action space before college. Huh?
Don't get too excited. It won't be anything good.
I guess we'll see about that.
Whoa. Are you serious right now? You know what? I'm going with the bowling duel, and I'm going to take player 4's money.
Wait, what? Are you serious right now?
Come on, Joe. You got this.
Good luck, Joe.
I guess your daddies are cheering you
Only
on.
5?
And
Seriously?
of course you get a horrible number. Watch the Cook Boys.
It's still a decent number, though.
Facts.
And of course this team is once again treated
Try
like
more,
business
player
as usual.
4.
And that is exactly why you shouldn't get too ahead of yourself playing sports. You should learn from me. I used to be the toxic one. It's not too late, you know.
And have you won a game yet? It doesn't matter.
That's why you haven't won a game yet. Well, today is a new opportunity for me to win a game. Let's see what I can do with this tournament.
That's a good mindset to have for Ross. Good luck.
Thanks, Joe. This is disgusting.
What's disgusting is your toxicity player 4.
Yes.
By the way, Barack,
What's up, Joe?
teach the single life and you're going to switch games up and take another shot.
I'm just going to stick with the single path.
No surprise that it's a mental mentality to have. It's the thing to say.
So I stand by that.
And you almost paid $50,000 for me, Barack. Step it up.
But he didn't.
All right, well, I'm going to play Russian roulette with my job. I'm confident I can land the 120K paying job.
There's no way you get it. You're not voting.
Let's see.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's called luck, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
got a lot of money right now.
So what?
I'm tied for the knowledge crown.
Who cares?
And now I have the 120K paying job.
Doesn't mean anything.
Things are looking solid so far.
Well, hopefully I can replicate that.
Are you serious right now, Donald?
It wasn't my
How bad are
fault.
you at this game?
At least you'll land on another action space, Donald. It can't be that bad, right? I guess, but I kind of want my salary. I'm running a little. Well, I guess I'll give you the game for another knowledge action.
Seriously, Donald? How dumb are you? How tough you only can make four? I guarantee you're going to take out but you did that one game.
All right, how about you focus on yourself?
There's no way in hell you're telling me to focus on myself when I'm doing that one time.
How much money do you guys get?
Those are for sure.
Well, I guess I should know what it is.
For once, Donald just said something smart. I have a 2 pounds with a 120K job. Respect me.
You're still at the very beginning of our match.
So what?
You can get too ahead of yourself.
If you look like you, then you would understand. Joe has literally won 3 times.
For real. It's fine, guys. Don't spend too much energy on player 4.
You say I'm toxic?
Well, yeah, that's because
That's
you are.
player 4 is that's toxic. Who's toxic? Stuff is toxic. Nothing's toxic. It's toxic. Whatever. I'm telling you what you're toxic is stuff. It's like that. Let's see if you can.
I'll read the system. I'm not going to do the part of that nonsense you just spewed out. You got your real quick as well.
Well, I did just have to. Sit up.
I wonder what happens to so much new driving.
My deputy is always saying to sit up. I gotta go. That's not what I do. I don't want to spend my time today.
That's the way I just think of your nothing special. But nobody has to play the court. There's something else.
All the extra I'm just giving it back to you.
Ain't that
We're
good?
running out of money, but there's only many more attributes. So let's give them some.
Yeah, that's good. Hopefully I can get a hold of this because I'm way ahead of you.
After this, the system with a bunch of time that no plan. Just like I predicted, 2 goals with a good run Donald. This is what I'm stopping. So thank you to the rest of the doors.
Nobody cares for what you have to say, player 4.
I bet Donald, I didn't really do the one thing that couldn't save you. It's not your fault, Joe. Let's do a job like you get us.
Hey, this is what the knowledge stuff. You work for something. This is something that
But of course, you're trash, so I can't say that I'm surprised.
you didn't tell me beforehand, player 4. You told him after the fact.
For real. All right, so I guess I have no option but to go to war. Hopefully I can get the game. Yeah.
This is so unlucky, Donald. Agree, you're not doing anything wrong really. Just pick up 14 skills.
Well, now that we got the fast players coming out of the way, it's time for you guys to witness the vote.
Yeah, whatever you say. Hurry it up.
And once again, I would have taken the family path. Family over everything, boys.
So sorry, sir. Try not to split it again and talking about family, okay?
You're disgusting.
I've never acted like that when talking about family.
Toxic in a Lions game.
You listen to me, bro.
No, you listen to me, player 4. This is stupid. 50,000.
Well, I'm standing on my knees and my hope is that I will stay far ahead of you because you won't have any time. It is not the reason I know it is. Well, how about I show you the commentary skills I have that in the business, bro. Think I would do it.
You feel good? Not really. Donald has made improvements. I can't say the same about you, player 4.
The fact that you guys have to help us work together is okay.
Do whatever you want. Don't mind me. It's still a nice thing.
Player 4 is getting absolute respect.
Like,
Joe literally has to change what happened to that. Did you all
Okay, well, maybe you should be more concerned with this. Oh, what is it? Let's see what you got, man. Yeah, I guess I did. I'm really keeping the notes around. I don't think it's good, but taxpayers think they're good. Nobody is wrong after that. They have things to do. Are you talking about yourself playing the pool? Let's go. I got like $60,000.
That's definitely a nice thing, Rock, but I really wish you landed on more action space.
That's
Hopefully that will happen more moving forward.
hopefully you guys will stop you guys this forward.
All right, I've heard enough. It's time for you to go to the district room and watch me for it. Yeah.
As you burn the entire state down, you will be scared. You feel good about yourself. You feel good about yourself for the force. You're fine. You're packed. You're secure. You're packed. You're blessed. You're packed. You're about to be secure. Packed. How do you feel about that? It's crazy. I can't believe you guys are confident. That's the fact that it's getting it wrong. I feel like we get this thing so bad it's there for us, but once it'll come out, that's when it gets this thing to that position. What's working out?
What happened to your goat?
They're very positive. I think the most individual in the family of the election got like, oh, just keep doing more voting. How big a place is it? Yeah, what about it? What about the family being down? I'm all for going against the other four. But don't you think you're taking it a bit far? Yeah, so yourself. But I think I can just get that a lot. Let's try to get you guys on the time.
What happened to help with the business? Did you say that's the place
I don't know what you're talking about, Donald. Go. Regardless, if you shut up with everything you're saying, I would make you guys respect me, and this is all said and done. Okay, what else today? Respect me, good thing, huh?
Not a bad thing. Just came to be the close to the straight home.
Well, I'm going to let them space. If anyone's cooking, it's me. Go to yours.
Okay, let's see what you get.
Well, this is an obvious thing. I just tried Bill in the happiness department. And I only went myself. I'm goaded.
All right, Doug, it's a pretty good turn, but it's time for me to do something special.
So you're not going to do anything special since you're always going to the single path.
Did you just let Joe Schnitzel leader and me like goddamn?
So really, it's not like he has to concentrate. He does the same thing every day. Single path and investment.
So I guess that will be changing this game later forward. Wait, what?
Like I said, going forward is this stuff. My telling you, when you go to get the get that will be going forward is no time. It won't matter if Joe doesn't have any money.
I thought you said family will do everything before the game. Isn't that how you win the game of life?
How about we focus on the fact how Joe learns that getting shows we need to land on national stage. It's just one thing, that was a guard. Once again, you should be focusing on the goal, not the evaluating this. Just because we said that, this one will be like Joe.
Danny, can we get one turn that you did something instant?
That's not like Alan has the district. Right? So, it's so stupid. Okay, I was wondering why the rock was making and just like that, this is so I would be able to get the rest of them having an expected high.
Now that's what you call seduction. Fact. Let's see if you can teach yourself to it.
You guys are going to celebrate like the Rock won the game already or something? Chill out. It's just one man.
So when you had one solid turn, you were calling yourself to win.
That's because I'm goaded.
Ignore player 4 dollars. Let's see what you can do with this team here.
Call me George down. I wonder if you can still compete with this kid even though you have a one down.
It will be tough, but I'm giving you confidence. At least if you're going to pay me to start getting that 120. Well, I'll try for that. That's what I get.
They won't get it. How do you know that player four?
Yeah.
So does that answer your question for Rock? You can go. I just want to that's goaded.
All right, it's so it's so good. Let's see if you can get a solid good.
You don't have to keep running and I literally have to skip.
So there it is.
Again. Well, I didn't skip to join the family conference again.
I got this one.
I got tactics. All right, you still on the same you will understand the district that this is saying, I was going to say that I'm not going to do much less than this is the
Yeah, you want to have it like that. That's the time. Focus on it.
big blessing to see it. So, I'm talking about I don't know if it's good. You got to go to the north to the government. It's good to survive. Yeah, I'm thinking about my God, it's getting better already on. Yeah, well, it's getting good as well. It's just a penny off. You don't think it's a good thing. Good luck. It's a great spot. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been before stores. There's a lot of good places going on. Nothing new here, Joe. That's why I'm going to spend it because at the end of the day, after you end up getting nothing. But I hate to break it to you guys. Still talking, that won't be happening anytime soon. Just go to the store once again. You get better and better to look at that 50K, Joe. So you guys got the hell I was trying to talk.
We don't care if you're trying to talk player 4.
We'll do it. But I like looking at the different bill, what is the different do? I think that's that like the changes. They don't have numbers there. They can just why would you recognize others? But it is. It's funny though, that's the last yes, and that's it's all right. So there's some students can have more. It's good enough time. We're doing this with the service. It's got good. I said, the population said, what the hell is wrong with you guys? Why are you all the way back there? Quality's fine. Let's just take it one thing at a time, okay? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, please, one thing. Okay, I guess I can understand you. You didn't have that last week, though, so it's going to make me in the least I didn't have that fast. It wasn't a bad trip by any means, and I can still feel. Okay, stop with you guys and hurry up and get it on. Can't stand out being possible. Go after them and know. Again, I think that they were service is not being possible. Oh, really? So that way you guys sensitive. All right, well, you can bring out nonsense, but in the meantime, I was just single pass. Nothing new here. This is why you're practicing again. Okay, let's do a 5 station. There's no idea of that respect. That's not going to happen. Yeah. You just not kidding. It's like family is the best. I don't know anything about this. It's it's because I don't family. It doesn't mean that you have to take it that far. We're not the ones taking it that far. You're the one taking it that far. It's not. I'll be complicated to get to the that. Watch me go over the last time you said that. It literally happened again. You gave up 50K the last time too when you said it you said. Yo, how drunk did you at this game? You were so lucky that you could play with you like this player team. You should have just stopped playing with you. Yeah, why haven't you done that? You said it's about the day. I know it's because you think you're capable of not being toxic. I'm not being toxic. I can say you can just be just doing the work. Damn right, if you get stuck, you should be doing the work. This won't happen if you get stuck. Okay, well, you gotta keep it that is not how you do it. You need a kid, not a dog. You're not going to play this game. They say, why are you talking to me? But I am there. I just thought you were just having a sports conversation. For real. Because more I'll tell you. You're not looking for you. Well, I don't need your opinion for a while. How about you focus on your... Actually, I will. I think I'm doing pretty well for myself, though. You definitely don't feel like Darren, every time you guys get up and fit, you always end up messing things up. All right, chill out for your boy. It's not that serious. But of course, I have to let that go. Here we go, I guess. As long as you don't land on taxes, you'll be fine. Somebody don't want to go, the sky's going to you. You know that? Come down to that land on taxes. Every time you're able to get a salary, you're just like, it doesn't matter. I highly doubt it. Especially if the college is like the state government. They're going to stop and they can make college and that person already. Damn. Well, maybe you guys should. Once again, Donald gets more cities now. How much you'll have to pay to do stop talking? For real. Money doesn't mean anything. Family over there. At least you're landing in the next state. Yeah, I definitely go ahead. You know, Jim, it's funny, Justin. Look at the blood side of it. You're secured in your knowledge. That's true. Now you should be the next one to have it done. In fact, I think you can put it in there. If the reason is discussed with this stuff, how about you guys go and get clarification? One guy didn't literally gave you switch style. I want to give you that so you could have a better chance of